Hello again, YouTube. Continuing on with the story mode of this game, Bastion. I wanted to make a side comment or two. I have not done these dreams yet in recordings here, so I will come back and do them. There's a third dream that's accessible in normal mode, and there is a fourth dream that's accessible in New Game Plus, which is quite hard. Fun but hard. Looks like I just have one more building to upgrade here. And I have the carbine and pike still. So we'll continue forward here. The other side comment is that if you don't go to an area and then leave, the game will not save.
Just takes three things to build the greatest city in the world. It takes hard work and planning, and it also takes Bastion quarry.
Okay, he's done talking. If you were to change your loadout and then quit in the main city area, you need to go into a level and then go back to the Bastion to save that change, because it only saves when changing screens, basically. So just something to note.
The tunnels beneath the quarry must have softened the blow from the calamity. We bought the whole place from the on the cheap. Same goes for its natives, rattletails. Why would the put up with those pests? Rattletails ain't the worst of it either, but more about that in a little bit. Windbags smaller than the naked eye can see are nesting in those rocks.
Didn't even see those stink eyes.
Not only are these rocks a source of life, we found that the oldest ones remember things.
I can pierce armor now with the pike.
Recording everything, all the time, taking it all in. No wonder all those beasts were drawn to the quarry. The rocks were calling them. Keeping the quarry free from pests turned out to be a problem. Rattletails kept tunneling in to snack on windbags.
There's some different pathways through here. They're pretty simple, but if you want to go, say, up here, like I am right now,
windbags tended to the rocks, so we had to
not much up there other than a potion. Stink eyes up here, if I can trigger them.
Even stink eyes started taking root here.
These windbags are friendly unless you attack them. To demonstrate, if I can hit them. Oh, maybe I can't.
Now, why would the sell off such a fascinating place?
There we go. So if you roll into them, they will become aggressive towards you. But until then, they do not.
The always were a superstitious lot. Might be the gods told them the quarry's bad news.
I'm a terrible person.
In any case, it's fair to say the quarry was a godsend. Those rocks, all polished to a mirror sheen.
If you're using a controller, it will do auto assist, aim assist, which can cause you to block incorrectly sometimes. I just did that a couple seconds ago. And while that can be annoying, I do find the controller to be very handy still, and highly recommend it.
Single core can keep the lights on in an entire city district.
So since the spear now pierces armor, it pierces armor in all situations,
We call them shards.
including being thrown, making it one of the handful of weapons that have anything or ranged that also pierces armor.
A shard's got a fraction of the core's power, enough to fuel a voyage to the motherland. Well, now the quarry's all dried up. These rocks are much too young to be of use.
So the pike is pretty strong at this point in the game, but one of the things that's going to matter is I am still only level 5. I don't have all of the
Remember
possible
how I
drinks.
said Rattletails ain't the worst thing in the quarry. That honor goes to a beast we took to Colin, Sir Lunky. Massive things stomped many of our boys. We just couldn't get rid of him.
Having more drinks would give me more crit chance or other bonuses.
The only thing harder than the rocks goes to the quarry is Sir Lunky's hand. You never could get stubborn old Lunky to leave the quarry alone.
For this fight, it's just a little bit of a mini
When the
boss.
kid hears a voice calling from down the hall. Are you alright? It says.
Are you done, narrator? Thank you. There's another upgrade here. Potions. This fight is relatively easy if you have the pike or something else that pierces armor. You can just hold down the shield, throw a thrust, and then hold down the shield. And as long as you don't get pushed off the edge, you will just get pushed back a little bit and you'll take 0 damage. If you kill, as you probably saw, if you kill the big lunkhead frog thing, everything else in this room dies, but things will continuously spawn. Not continuously, there's a set amount. But there's 2 or 3 waves in this room that will continue to spawn as time passes. And then as you naturally, if you kill him,
I've come to warn you, he says.
it resets.
The Bastion is under siege. Let it fall. You should not go back. Kid hears him, but he ain't about to be deterred.
So there's no option here to actually listen to Zulf.
If that's the way it is, he says, then I won't stop you. Because my countrymen will.
But that's okay. Not everything needs to have a choice to it. Though it might have been neat if it was secretively there.
Say what you will about Zulf, but he's a man of his word. His countrymen don't much care for pleasantries, though. Too bad for that. Zulf showed them the way here, and here they came to take revenge. They got inside the Bastion and shut the door. Kid's gotta go in through the back. I should have told him sooner about all this.
As a reminder and side comment, picking up these artifacts or trinkets or whatever do give experience. It's not much, but 100 experience here and there is still useful.
Unfortunately, they broke in and they started digging their hole. Something wrong sprung out of controls, and it's eating away at this place. We tried to stop it, but we needed help.
The faster you do this room, the less you lose, I guess is the best way to put it. Your pets here in the city can die.
Our little squirt, you don't make
Oh, I lost the squirt.
Somehow, some way, he sends those Ura packing. Problem
Yeah.
is, it didn't matter. Zolf's plan worked. We find each other as the dust settles. Then I tell him why the Ura came. To get us back. For the calamity. It was Caelondia's master plan to wipe the Ura out. But part of that plan backfired, didn't it? If only Zolf knew the whole story.
Yeah. So, we don't have a squirt anymore. If I had upgraded the shrine sooner, I might have had different gods active, which would have actually given him more health, or defense, or reflection, or whatever. Because your summons count as monsters and also get those same god bonuses, strangely enough. I think that's a really neat little mechanic. I presume it was intentional.
What were we to think? They must have got her, taken her back to her rightful home.
So Zia is gone, Zolf is gone.
The shards can rid this disease in remission, but there's only one cure. We need to finish what we started.
And yeah, the story here is basically that Caelondia is some kind of large city. Essentially, it was up in the clouds or behind a great wall, something in that regard. And then the Ura, they
Bastion
lived.
gotta build itself. Well, not entirely.
Okay, they lived underground, basically in like some kind of subterranean den. I believe that is maybe why they're displayed as kind of being a little pale. When the whole calamity happened, they were thrust into the sky, just as everything else that we're stepping on and floating on and whatnot. I'm not sure the story of how everything's up in the sky to begin with. I don't know if that's normal in this world or not. But it definitely sounds like Caelondia, from other discussions with Rux here, it does sound like they were trying to build up to the sky, and that the farther they built, it didn't matter, and they could never reach the stars no matter how much they tried. So yeah. So very kind of, like alternative lifestyles, not alternative, but opposite lifestyles here. One civilization living on the land or in the land in kind of subterranean dens, the other living high up in the sky with huge walls and pillars and things like that. And I can imagine being at basically the opposite ends of that being somewhat hard for those two societies, even though they did they did come to a peace. But even Zolf has his hesitations after the calamity happens. And of course now the Bastion is all damaged and stuff. And then the calamity itself was a weapon. The Bastion was a weapon, effectively. And it was made to backfire at some point. And I don't know if it was intended to go off at the time that it did, but it did. And so the world has to live with it, to some degree at least. When we get to the ending, there are two endings. I'm going to spoil the ending a little bit here. So, big warning, spoilers, I guess. When you get to the end, you have two options, one of which is to kind of reset time. The Bastion can rewind time to before the calamity happened, which makes everyone forget everything. Everything is reset. So no one has a memory of it. There's no time loop per se. It's quite literally a rewind in time. The other option is to just accept the reality of what has happened, to accept the friends and the changes that have been since the calamity, and actually turn the Bastion into kind of like an airship. I think that's technically kind of the official ending due to the ending credits song. So, enough talking. Let's get to claiming this.
The windbags ain't the only beast that drew a bad lot.
And let's do this.
Seems the gods recommended this place to all their friends.
Now I have
Sanctuary.
all the buildings.
If we can build, we can rebuild. Messia, Garmouth.
And I'll go through and I'll do this on as many gods as I can access here. So the last two gods are in the shop again. So you do need level 2 shrine to access the last four gods. So this is one of the most annoying ones because if you get tapped, your roll and your movement is both slowed. And this means you get tapped by a bird, you get tapped by a random projectile, anything. You're just going to be slowed like 30, 40%, something like that. It's only worth 5% experience, so keep that in mind. A lot of these are only 5%. Some of them are 10. That's 10. That's 5. This is the one that reflects things or deflects things, so it's not like a critical power block, super block, anything like that, like you can do to enemies. It's just kind of a regular kind of push the projectile away. But this also affects a lot, if not all, of the special effects, the special abilities that you can get, which can then lead to situations of just wasting black tonics, which feels pretty bad. I can understand that on some of the tonics because they shoot like multiple projectiles or whatever, but for the one that I have equipped, the breaching bullet, if it gets deflected, it just does nothing. Whereas if you have some others, let's see here, that's not what I want. It's like Trigger Blitz can be reflected, Breaching Bullet can be deflected. I don't know if Trapper Snare can be. This, I think, can't be because it's technically a counterblock anyway. That one's, in my opinion, not very good to begin with, but Hand Grenade could probably be deflected. I haven't tried Hand Grenade at this point in the game. Trip Mine probably can't. With projectiles, I know with the... what is it called? Galleon Mortar is at the top. If it gets deflected, it'll just kind of get pushed slightly. Like I said, it's not a full counter. And so with the mortar, it will get kind of pushed slightly, but the mortar has enough area of effect that it usually will still hit the target. And so the explosive aspect is not reflectable, but the actual regular hit is. So it's basically just the projectile or the actual attack of it that's deflected. since you're looking at least if you're trying to do this on 10 or 8 gods, deflections are somewhat more annoying on things like the pistols or the repeater, more so than, say, the hammer or the machete or carbine, because you're either kind of killing something in 1 or 2 hits or you're deflecting. And especially with the brusher's pike or the machete, because you're going to be critting often with these weapons, that the burst damage is either going to kill them or it's going to just be negated. But like the dueling pistols, on the other hand, depending on how you have them loaded out, like with a lot of ammo versus a lot of damage, the deflection has a 20% chance, and you'll feel it, and it'll suck. It's just what it is. I don't think the deflection can hit you. I don't recall ever seeing that, but yeah, it's rough. I wish I was level 6 already. I'm not. So you can see that I'm only halfway to level 6. I'm almost at the end of the game.
The Ura swooped down from the east. At least now we know the way.
So I believe there's just one more shard here, and that's it. There's a couple more levels, but there's just one more shard, which will make the Bastion heal itself or whatever. Well, kinda. But yeah. I know I've been talking a lot here. I'm just gonna end this video and go to the next video here. I'm gonna cut it up. So so the next couple levels are longer. I will probably not cut them up if they're under an hour. If they're over an hour, then I'll cut them up. So yeah. But yeah, I'm going to continue forward with all 8 gods active. I've done this before. It's not the hardest thing in the world by any means. New Game Plus, you'll unlock the last 2 gods. They both give 10%, which puts you at a maximum of 75% for both experience and for money. Although in New Game Plus, once you have even a little bit of money, you'll be able to buy out all of these if you want, or at least the upgrades and drinks that you want. And then you'll get to level 10 pretty quick in New Game Plus. I don't know if there's an actual experience bonus or damage bonus or really major change to the gameplay, so it may not be for you to play New Game Plus. But there are things that are unlocked in each area. So there's 2 new drinks, 2 new gods. I think there's a few more of these unlocked, like 2 more down here at the bottom, below where these 2 would be, just to the right of here. And then when you upgrade to level 2 of the buildings, you get 2,500 mini shards or whatever. I don't know what this does. Okay. You interactables I've really not messed with too much here. Anyways. So we'll continue forward with the hunt for Zia and where she's gone and how that all plays out. The next video.